girl, I'm Bossy, and welcome back to the Shan Show. On today's panel, we have
Shan,
Randa,
Jeslyn.
Wow, excited! All right, y'all. So as you know, we're about to do a panel discussion. Before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notification bell so that every time I drop a new video, you get that right to your phone or your email. Make sure you leave me some comments down below. I love the feedback, and I definitely comment you guys back or reply to you guys. That was awful grammar. Last but not least, make sure you like this video. Wow.
Should we be drinking water, Shani?
It's been a long day. Been up since 5 a.m. guys. Just bear with me. But yeah, make sure you like this video and share with everybody. Share with your friends, family. Make sure they all see what the Shan Show is about, because we finna blow up. Period. Alright, cool. So, today's topic is, would you allow your child to call a step-parent mom or dad?
Ooh. So. That wasn't even a hard response for me. We go, okay. Personal story. Like, I was one of those kids who didn't like calling, like, even now as an adult, I have, like, respect titles. You know, I don't want to call you Miss or Mr. I mean, I don't want to not call you Miss or Mr. because you're older than me. So, as a kid, like, I couldn't imagine calling somebody by, like, an adult by their first name.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, my dad...
Even if it was like Mr. John or Mr. Joe?
Like, I can't call you John or Joe.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, my mom was in a relationship with a man for, like, 8 years. So, from my formative years where I could remember, you know, he's always been around. Mm-hmm. My dad, of course, I knew who my dad was, but my dad wasn't around. This guy wasn't around, so I called him Daddy. So when I was like 6 years old, my dad came to me, and I remember it very vividly. He was like, don't call him Daddy anymore, because that's not your daddy. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know, me being a 6-year-old, I'm so shocked. And
you
I'm
feel like you're in trouble.
You know, like I feel like I did something wrong, and like I literally had to go to this man and cry in front of this man, like, my dad told me I can no longer call you Daddy, like I have to call you Marvin. And it broke my heart. It literally broke my heart. So having my own personal experience with that, like, I just feel like, here's my thing. If that's not your daddy or whatever else it is, your stepdaddy, your whoever, like, I feel like what you refer to somebody as has to be comfortable for you. Mm-hmm. So if my son, he's 2. And he'll sometimes be like, Shanae. And I'm not comfortable with him calling me Shanae. You know, right? And that's how I feel. Because I'm mommy to you. Yeah. Like, call me mommy. But it's just like, how do you really, like, to me, I don't think that you could, because I had a bad experience with it. And I know how much it, like, really shook me
but that was because
6 years
you
old.
were already in the mindset of, okay, this is dad. You feel me? And you've been calling that for years.
And then I'm around other people who are calling him daddy. So it's like, it shook me so much. Like, I felt like I was doing something bad. And I don't think that you should ever put that level of pressure on kids. So it's just like, I feel like, okay, right now, I have a 2-year-old. If I start dating somebody else, like, that's a conversation that me and his father need to have. What do you want this child to call this man? You know? Like,
she has so much to say. She's
the whole time. The answer is no. She's like, you're not calling like your father's significant other mom. I'm not gonna have, and vice versa. Like, you have a mom and you have a dad. Like, you can call them Miss So-and-so, or if you guys end up getting to a point in your relationship where you may be engaged or you may be married, if there's another name that you have for that person, you can call them that other name, but I'm your mom, and that is your dad. And you're not calling anybody else mom. And for me, like, in my situation, my son's father is always like, he already has a mom. So we're not trying to do any replacements. We're not trying to do any extra whatever. Like, he has a mom. I don't know. That makes me uneasy. For me to be a parent now in the circumstances that I'm in, like, you know, being a single woman who is a parent, you're not calling. My son's not calling you mom. It's just not gonna happen. Like, he calls, you know, his my son's father, his girlfriend. He, you know, calls her Miss Alicia or whatever. But like, that's where we're gonna keep it.
Yeah.
You're not calling her mom, and not because I like her. You know, it's not even that, but I am your mom.
But you have your place.
Now, I fucks with that. Like,
and that's
honestly,
it.
I fucks with that because, like, as a child having to be in that situation, like, I didn't realize the implications for my father. I wouldn't have realized the implications for my mom because my dad was married at the time. You know, like, if I started calling his wife at the time instead of calling her Regina, God rest her soul, instead of calling her mom, like, I don't know how that would have made my mom feel. I just know how it made me feel as a child.
Yeah.
And that's my thing is, like, I feel like you need to define those things as when the child is young, because you don't want to set your child on a precedence. And sorry, mom, if you feel like I don't think that you should set your child at a precedence and then like come back and be like take it back, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, as a mom now, shit, I dare you to call one of them.
I mean, how key that shit would hurt my feelings for real. It would
I'm
hurt my
sorry.
feelings.
Do you think it holds more weight for your child to call another woman mom, or for the child to call another guy dad?
I
I
think
feel like it depends on the role.
I was
Because for
about to
some people,
say-
you could have single fathers, like, and then the father's the sort
The
of
primary,
parent.
yeah.
So I think it depends, but I do like the idea of everybody should have a different name.
Yeah.
So like, especially depending on how much how early the child was introduced to the other person, like
How much time you're
how much
spending?
time you spent.
Yeah.
And girlfriends, no, because that's just a girlfriend.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
exactly.
like,
I mean,
talking about
someone who's
wife.
longevity, not
Yeah,
a
for
temporary.
sure.
You
For
know,
me, like, I didn't get a step parent until I was an adult. So, like, I
And I'm
would
the
joke and I
opposite.
would, like, pass that on and she'll laugh. But she's like, you're going to call me Nicole because you're an adult and I'm an adult. Like,
see, okay, so my situation is the opposite. I had a step parent come in when I was like
Same.
one.
Same.
Right.
I call my
And-
stepdad my dad.
Yeah.
He's my dad.
And to the point where I'm even legally adopted. I have his last name, but I'm still in contact with my
Same.
biological father.
Same.
And I call both of them dad.
I call my real father Pop. I can't call him dad. He came in my life at 19. Well, I found him at 19.
See, so but mine is
No.
different still because
Yeah.
both of them played a role, but the step played more of a primary role in raising me because I lived with
Yeah.
my mom.
Yeah.
But my my biological father, he was still there throughout my life. So I call both of them dad, but as far as my mom, I have one mom.
yeah.
And that's just me. I've never been put in a predicament where I had to be like, oh, that's my mom too. Like, no.
But see, that's what I was about to say. Like, I think that it
And that's
depends.
no shade.
Yeah.
I think it
Say
depends on
more
your
watching.
situation because, like, I feel like as a woman, you know, or as a man, depending on what purview you're looking at, you're going to have like a man is going to think that calling another man daddy is going to be something more egregious than a woman calling, thinking you calling another woman mommy would be or whatever. But it's just, it's basic psychology. You're going to have more empathy for your sex than you would for the other or whatever else it is. And that's why I think, like, it also depends on, like, the type of situation that you're in. Like,
Yeah.
I've always, there's never been a day where I've never been with my mom, and my
And
dad,
my mom
for
take
me,
her role seriously.
Right,
So,
and
what I look like calling somebody else's mom.
Right,
But you're my mom. You know what I'm saying? So,
I feel you, but at the same time, some people have trash moms.
true.
So, like,
Yeah.
for me, Daddy, I love you, but you was a trash dad.
Yeah.
So, like, when I was growing up, like, my mom was with a man. She was with him forever. So much so that when she would forever for me in my young life,
yeah.
I don't
What really matters.
remember
Yeah.
a life before he left. I didn't remember a life before him. So he had always been that guy in my life, and I
So did you
called
call
him
your dad? Did you call your biological father dad too?
Yeah, I called my dad, and then I called this other person
Dad
dad,
as well.
too.
Yeah.
And it's because I didn't know a life without him. He had 2 daughters. They were always around. They called him dad. I called him dad. And it never became an issue until my dad, my
Once he
actual
heard it, he was like,
biological
"What's
father,
going on?" Yeah.
made an issue out of it.
Right.
And I don't think that my mom, now it makes me wonder if I should go back and ask her if she ever felt that it was something that was inappropriate or wrong. I don't remember. I just remember knowing that, like, at a point in time, I was told to stop calling this man dad, and I need to call him by his first name, which made me feel uncomfortable. And then when he left, and now that I'm grown now, and I'm like, you left too, you know, kind of thing, you know, like it's a different idea or whatever else it is. But like for me, I think that you just have to I really do think you have to set the precedent at a young, at the beginning stages, because like, but and then also at the same time, you never know how things are going to turn out, because honestly, my mom was with this non-father for 8 years. So when he was leaving, I remember like pulling on his pant leg, crying, bawling, like, where are you going? Like, what's going on? Kind of thing. But that's just because that's what I knew. Yeah. You know, for 8 years of my life, that's what I knew, or at least that's what I remember knowing for 8 years, or up until I'm 8 years old. So that's what I knew. So, you know, but even though I've been calling you your first name for this amount of time, like, it didn't change the devastation. And you don't really know how things are going to pan out, because sometimes people can get together and be together forever, and sometimes people can get together and cease. You know, so it's kind of hard, because trust me, shit, I don't want my son calling anybody else mom.
Hello. That's really the bottom line.
Period. But I also don't want my son calling anybody else other than his father daddy.
Exactly.
But let me interject. Let me interject, because I know of a couple, well, that's no longer. I know of a situation where the child is only like 2, and the father hasn't been around, and the mom has taught the son to call the father by his first name. So when the father is addressed by his first name, when he does speak to him here and there, he's upset. He's like, no, he should be calling me daddy. But I feel like, well, if you're not doing your daddy duties, you don't deserve that title.
Well, and that's that's the difference. I feel like if your son's father is active, my son's father is active in his life, so there won't be any other people, mommies or daddies. Okay. Now, it's when you're not present and you're not active, and you do have somebody that stepped up to the plate, whether that be the mother or the father, then I think that's where the dialogue is different. Okay. Then you know, like, it's both of us, you had a different man at 1 year old raise us. So that is my dad. Even if, you know what I mean? Like, so I think that is where the line is drawn. Is if you're not an active parent, you don't get to call title. You don't have a say so. Right. You don't. Because you don't have a bond with your child.
But then at the same time, like, if you're not an active parent, that dialogue can't really actually happen. So that's why I say, like, you know, if, you know, like, for example, like me at this point in my life, you know, if I do decide to think about dating or whatever else, and then say I may end up with somebody else, like, that's a dialogue, because both me and his father are active parties in the rearing and, you know, of this child. That's a dialogue that can happen. For me, my dad was a non-existent factor. To this day, my dad love him to death because he's my father. And I have that emotional attachment to him because he's my father. But at the end of the day, he was never a real presence for my mom to even have that dialogue for him, with him, or whatever else it is. And like I say, the man that I was calling daddy or whatever else it is, to this day, like, even though him and I don't really have like a close-knit relationship, because I got older and I realized the fuck shit about the reason why him and my mom were no longer together or whatever else it is. But the fact is that he was a presence. He was there. He was active. And my dad wasn't able to come and interject and say, oh, no, don't do this. You waited until I was 6. I've been calling this man daddy forever. And that should show you how much of or not of a influence that you had, because it took so long how you weren't paying attention. Right, you weren't there to do that. So, like, I don't think that if you're not an active parent, of course that dialogue can't happen, and you really don't have a say so. Like, that's not your role. That's not your responsibility.
It's like ego.
You didn't make this your responsibility.
It's literally ego.
It's
egocentric. That was like that. When they were born, their father dipped, and so as far as what they called their father by their first name.
Yeah.
And their father used to get upset. And I'm like, daddy, father, whatever
I don't
name
even
you
feel
get,
comfortable calling
that's earned.
Yeah,
That's not given.
yeah.
Like, by definition, you're my
So,
father, but
okay,
you're not
how about
gonna give
this?
it to me.
For a step parent, can that title be taken away if at your older age things start to turmoil?
Between the parents?
So, say for instance, like our situation,
Mm-hmm.
if things were to go south as
Oh, they're not together. He's my dad.
no, for you and him.
Yeah. Oh,
For
okay.
you and him, if things were to go south or things have been brewing over years and you're just like, you know what, I'm done. You did your due diligence, you know what I'm saying, raising me, but I don't know if I can still call you dad because of some of the things you put me through.
I think I would still call him dad.
Okay.
Yeah, just, shit does happen, but like at the end of the day, like if he did do something traumatic or whatever the case may be, like at one up until however,
Yeah.
you raised me, like, so you are my you are my father, and I don't know, I guess it's case by case, but I feel like if that happened to me and my dad did something to me traumatic as an adult, he would still be my dad. I wouldn't call him Cliff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that wouldn't even sound right. Like, to be calling you Cliff. Like,
It would
you
be
know,
intentional disrespect.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
like I call my biological father by his first name. I call him
But-
Spit. But you weren't around, so
Yeah.
Right, and that's what I say. Like, I think that it also has to do but I mean, at the same time, like, I have cousins who call their mom and dad by first name. Like, not,
Listen up.
but no. Here's the thing, though. This is their mom and their dad.
Yeah.
Like, imagine your mother and your father, and just calling your mother and your father by your first name. But that's what they're accustomed to. But it's not just like they have like 3 kids, and like this is what they
That's
do.
that even goes with cursing in front of your parents. I don't even curse with my mom.
Sorry.
I mean, they know I curse. I'm grown, but I just feel like
I switch.
that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are like, I mean, I'm grown.
Let me
You
tell
know what's
y'all-
up.
let
You
me
know.
tell y'all
I mean, I don't out here be dropping F-bombs.
Right.
But like when my sisters are around, like, bitch.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Me and my mom are like best friends, and when I say, like, sometimes my mom will just sit there and she's like, "Can you make a whole sentence without?" Are you able to do it? I'm like, "What the fuck? You have this shit every day at work."
Girl, I'm off the clock. I've been censored.
So like, it took a long time though. Like, I remember the first time I started cursing from my mom. Like, I don't think that it was like something that was so smooth. Like, it wasn't like Smooth Criminal. Let me drop this F-bomb. You know? But like now, like, I think my mom just understands the strife.
Yeah.
Like, we work at the
you're an
same
adult now, so I
job.
respect you.
She knows,
You
like,
do?
oh, you're a
Your
parent
mom is
now.
good. When she
Like,
teleworks, thank God.
yeah, like, no, I'm telling you, like, my mom, but like my mom is just so reserved now. Like, no, my mom's so, my mom. But like, she'll just sit there and she'll like.
Like the only time I've cursed in front of my mom is if it was like I was in the middle of an argument, and
True.
if I'm at that, like, if you know me, you know I am cool as a cucumber. But once I'm on. You feel me? So it don't matter who around at that moment, because I'm gonna get off my chest what's been boiling. Because that's just how us Geminis work. Like, I'm chill, but you right there, you on that cliff.
And then if you
like
know me, I'm just a sailor. Like, every other word is a curse word. And like, my mom has just gotten to this point where she literally gives me the slow blink sometimes. She's like, language. That's because
And
she's
she's
not
so
prudish though.
Yeah,
But-
she likes to pretend that.
But my mom's not prudish. My mom will like literally when my mom curses, it's like fuck shit damn pits. Like literally.
No, really,
that's
in
my
that-
mom.
yes,
That's the
in that
order
order,
of
yeah.
curse word that my mother says.
First
But
of all,
like
that didn't even go right.
like,
All wrong, ma'am.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, like, I think that my mom has gotten to this point where, like, if I curse in front of her, it's like, like, I won't curse in front of her in front of company. Like,
Okay.
because she'll smack my face off. But like, when it's just me and her, like, and I know that I'm free to just be myself and just be me, like, I tell people all the time, I mean, 24/7. When I'm at work, you get the same Sinead that you get at home.
Yeah.
Like, so what you hear out of my mouth is exactly what I would say in front of my mother, and it would same sure I goddamn said in front of God. Okay, because he loves me.
Yeah.
He knows my soul. So like, but my mom, like, I think that it got to a point where the cursing in front of her, like, at first I was just kind of like, man, that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that motherfucking bitch. You know, and it's just kind of like, shit me.
Gotta work, guys.
Alright, y'all. So if y'all enjoyed this panel, make sure you comment down below. We can definitely do a part 2 of this.
Yes.
I appreciated the ladies coming out, giving their little 2 cents. Make sure you guys like and subscribe this video. Make sure you share with everyone. And also turn on your post notification bell so that every time I drop a new video, you can get that straight to your phone or your email. And on that note, see you in the next panel.
Bye.